A beautiful day, my wonderful students. It is time for another good engagement in the English discourse. I welcome you on board. Mr. Wabara is still on course. The last time we started with a discussion of Concord, which is the agreement between subjects and predicates. I led you through the laws of Concord, the rules that are involved, certain examples. You did see some practical examples that can appear in sentence as I use my stars to highlight. And today too, I'll be using my stars to give you those tidbits, even out of the box solutions to some English problems. Today we are continuing with the concept of Concord. And today we are looking at the Concord part 2. Part 2 will actually lead us to the other laws of Concord that we will discuss today. Week 5 is on discourse. So what are we going to learn today? By the end of this lesson, you student should be able to further appreciate the symmetry, the concordance involved in the use of subjects and predicate like we saw earlier on. You would also see some practical use of Concord in sentences different from the applications and the examples. Like I told you, when you serve a good meal, you may have meat as a main meat, but there are other smaller things there like fish, which I'm going to give you to benefit right here. You would also appreciate the fact that obedience to the laws and rules of English will make one to succeed. I've seen where intelligent students fail English language. Brilliant students. Why? They fail to follow the rule. They fail to obey the rule. So obedience to rule is what we have here. You will also see some insightful tricks that could expose answers in Concord problem. Like I told you, remember the other time when we use singular and we have a here instead of they. So you know that that thing is actually singular that we're talking about. We proceed to law 14, which is categorization Concord. Now, this is based on adjective. We have an article plus adjective and adjective. We call it that categorization, which is collective noun. And when it is used, it denotes a category of people that share the same situation. We take plural verb to represent that. Note plural verb for things that are categorized the same way. What are some concepts that categorizes? We have the young, the old, the gifted, the handicapped, the blind, the marginalized, the oppressed, the indigent, and so on. These are people sharing the same fate. They are categorized because they have the same problems militating against them. The blind, would it be need or needs our help? Of course, plural, need. The rich also cry. Why don't they say the rich also cries? You now know why they say the rich also cry, not cries. The poor in K2, the poor are numerous, not is. The privileged mostly talk condescendingly, yeah. The privileged, particular people that are favored, is called the privileged. What did they talk? Condescendingly. The privileged talks. Forgive me using that day. I'm using it to explain something. It's different from, say, my mother here is calling you. Those people, they are wicked. Using two subjects in a sentence is wrong. But the people in K2, that's those poor, they are numerous. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not bringing tautology into my discourse. I try to listen to myself when I talk. Now, the privileged mostly talk or talks condescendingly. When you talk condescendingly, you're bringing someone down. Okay. Now, because it's a privilege, talk plural. The oppressed pray to God, not praise to God, plural. Now takes us to National Concord Law 15. Law 15 say that when a collective noun is used that represent many units that make up the singular word, we look at using the plurals and singulars depending on the context or notion one has in mind. Remember, it's a subject-verb agreement that is not like the collectives. When we say the group, the bevy, band, tribe, armada, others are collective, they take singulars. But this one can take singular or plural depending on what you have in mind. Now, when that collective is seen as an entity, it takes a singular verb. But when a collective now is seen from the angle of the individual items that consider entity, it takes a plural. That's when you see the people making up that group performing an action or doing something. But if you see collectively, but it wouldn't take that plural verb. Similarly, a collective now takes a singular verb when it is not performing any action, of course, and a plural verb when it's taking an action, trying to buttress what we mentioned. When we say collectives, remember, we have collective nouns. We discussed before that are things like nest, things like colony, things like armada, things like group, choir. But here we have another form of it like club, that we call it national Concord, presidency, police, committee, assembly, senate, group, panel, faculty, outfit, things that have to do with administration, people gathering together for a purpose. It's not like animals gathering together. A herd of cattle is here, not are here. Regular, that one. But this one is a national Concord. Now listen. The police is or are celebrating the arrest of the criminal. Of course, the police here, are they performing action? Of course, they are celebrating. Everybody's raising hand and doing whoa, 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 whoa. So each person performing action, give us plural now, are celebrated. The police want or wants uniform. The police entity here, discuss singular, wants uniform to replace the old-fashioned one. My club meets, action, plural, meet, everybody meets, they come differently twice in a month. The crowd is or are large. The crowd, passive, is singular, large. The crowd is or are clapping. Now, everybody in that club is performing an action. Everybody is doing something. As plural, the crowd are clapping. The army have or has cracked the hideout of the thief. This is investigative ability. Everybody is doing something, so it's plural. The army have cracked the hideout of the thief. The community engages or engage in self-help project. The community, everybody is doing something. Every Dick and Harry, engage, give it plural. Now, Law 16, Concord of indefinite pronouns. Now, this rule said that when a pronoun that has one body or thing ending is used in a sentence, sometimes it may give an impression of a collective action. It should take singular, irrespective. Everybody wants to be rich by the hook or by the crook, or everybody wants to be rich. It's different from, the one we mentioned earlier on, which is the national Concord, people that are involved collectively in a group. Everybody wants to be rich by the hook or by the crook. That's by any means possible, whether good or bad. Everyone knows that uneasy lies or lie the head that wears or wears the crown. Everyone knows, singular. Now look at uneasy here, lies. You see, though we are talking about everything, everybody, everyone. See uneasy here. Uneasy, lies or singular, follow singular verb because we are applying it now. The hider wears, singular, the crown. Everything she asked for has or have been provided. Everything has. One out of each thing she has asked will be used separately to denote the singularity of the verb that we're going to use there. Nobody has or have come to sympathize with him. Nobody. Out of many of his friends, nobody has come to sympathize. They have to come individually. So when you come, she has come, he has come, so nobody has. Nothing succeeds like success. Nothing succeeds singular, like success. Now we go to law 17, parenthesis in a Concord. Now what's a parenthesis? A parenthesis is a word, phrase, or statement that is inserted or put as an extra or adjunct that had an idea into a sentence or passage that even if you remove that from that passage, it will still be complete. It won't affect it. Now in writing it, usually we separate it with brackets, dashes, or commas. Now, a parenthetic statement is usually not taken into consideration for the purpose of determining the verb to be supplied. It does not count. It's irrelevant. Now, what controls the verb is the statement that controls the verb of that parenthetic statement. Yes. Now, a parenthetic statement is not taken into consideration. What matters is the subject, the amount of number, the subject, the noun or pronoun occurring before the parenthetic statement will determine the verb. When that one is singular, the verb will be singular. When it's plural, the verb will be plural. Now, look at the parenthetic application. The employer, not the salesman. Now you see comma separated, the main statement, not the salesman. They said the employer and his representative. We can even say the employer is responsible for the loss because it's singular. Of course, we hold that the nation, which is a singular now, deserves, not deserve, singular. Now look at what I'm telling you. If it were plural, they won't put its, they would have put they here, endeavors. Now, the president, not the minister of finance, and the state governor is or are to blame for our economic woes. Right. Now the president here is singular. Whether I have the minister of finance, the minister of interior, or whatever, it is irrelevant. What we have is singular, that will go with singular, is to blame for our economic woes. Mr. Wabara, good news. Now hyphenated, parenthesize that statement. The principal and English teacher of God first, all these are irrelevant. Rewards hard work, singular. Yes, he does. Rewards hard work right there. Now, law 18, concord of or. When or is used, it can take a singular verb in one context and a plural verb in another context. It all depends on what you are referring to. Now, when or means everything or refers to an adjective or quality, it takes a singular verb. Everything, adjective or quality. But when it refers to collection of people, maybe actions or situations, takes a plural verb. Note that when or means an adjective or quality, like all is well, not all are well. It refers to an adjective or quality. But when it now refers to collection of people, actions or situation, maybe say all referring to different people, we use collective. Look at this. We are talking about all now. Example, all have or has agreed that the date should be changed. Now this all now is a collection of people. All have agreed. But all is well with Peter. Now all is here referring to an adjective, the condition of Peter, everything, all. Now all that glitters, it's not good. All, everything. But when you see a car, you see a house, you see bling bling, everything that glitters. Singular, not good. All has or have been put in place for the tournament. All, everything we need to do. Everything we need to do now have been put in place for the tournament. All wants to be rich at all costs. Every Dick and Harry. Every Dick and Harry. That case, what we talk about, everybody, each person that make up that group wants to be rich at all costs. Look at that rule again. All means everything or refer to an adjective, it takes a singular verb. But when it refers to collection of people, it gives us a plural verb. Note significantly, all is well with Peter. Situation, you know. But here, all have agreed, different people agreeing at the same time. Law 19, one of Concord. When one of is used in a sentence, it should be followed by a plural noun or pronoun, a singular verb. Note, one of plus plural noun plus singular verb. Note the examples. One of the schools, or schools, plural, of thought suggests, one of them suggests. Selective marking of error. One of the recommendations out of many allows one of them for punitive attention to criminality when one of the used in a sentence is immediately followed by a plural noun, and the verb to be used will be determined by the number at the beginning of that sentence. Of course, that number will be 1. One of the newly employed worker or workers, many of them, they employ many. One of them has been sacked. One of the pupils or pupil was or were able to answer the question. One of the pupils, many of them, was singular able. Everybody regards you as one of the, see, we bring every now into this discussion, and right here, it is those things I tell you that out of the box, everybody, of course, singular regards you as one of the brightest girls. You see, girls now use as one of their plural now. One of my friends comes here. Sometimes you see one of my friends is here. One of my friends, no, it's not. It's one out of many of your friends. One of follow plural now and a singular verb. He comes here. That one of your friends is the one that comes all the time. We can't say come here. Now, a pair of Concord. A pair of should always be followed by a plural noun and a singular verb. Note that sometimes you see these examples, they could look like singulars because they have s in it. That would not make them to use plural now. They must use singular verb, but they usually follow plural now. But application is to use singular verb. A pair of trousers, not trouser, is what I need from my father. A pair of shoes, not shoe, was singular, stolen by the gatekeeper. A pair of glasses, not glass, is on the table, not are, because they are glasses. A pair of pruning shears, not shear. Use it to cut in flowers, pruning, to prune, reduce, lies, singular on the floor. A pair of scissors, of course, you know these, scissors, not scissor, has been given or has been bought for the practicals you want to attend. Now, we see law 21. We did see law 20 previously. We did see law 19. Now we're right into law 21, which is mandative subjunctive Concord. Now, fondly known as PWDSR squared. That is prayer which demand, suggestion, resolution, takes the double verb, plural verb, that's 2 squared. Now, it posits that whenever a prayer, wish, demand, resolution, or we have resolve, resolution, suggestion, rather. Let me take it again. Whenever a prayer, wish, demand, suggestion, or resolution is used in a sentence, it must take a plural verb. That is why we have square. Whenever prayer, wish, demand, suggestion, recommendation, or any of their synonyms, their resemblance, what could resemble their appear? Look at what I say in this sentence. Recommendation or any of their synonyms or resemblance appears or appear in a sentence. Which demand, suggestion, recommendation, or any of their, we have many things now. We can't use singular verb is appear. This is a practical use here. Any of their synonyms. Any of here is also appearing in a sentence without you knowing it. So any of their synonyms, not synonym, and all of them now appear, not appears. A plural verb should be used even when the subject of the sentence is singular. Please note that we have to use. Now, what are some of the words that connote the 6 mandatives mentioned? Prayer, wish, demand, suggestion, resolution. We have decree, request, I decree. We request. They pronounce. She profess. The students declare. The teachers require. The people decree. So these are those synonyms that resemble the one we've mentioned earlier on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6. Prayer which demands suggestion, resolution. Those decree, suggest, maintain, require, declare are those things that look like them and must take plural verbs. We demand she leave or leaves. Leave our brother alone. Demand, subjunctive. I pray God deliver him out of that problem. Deliver. The chairman suggests or suggests. If he leaves the meeting, suggests, plural. If he now leaves the meeting, singular. If he leaves the meeting, this one takes singular. The students recommend he remove or removes the damaged vehicle. The students, of course, recommend he remove, plural. Whenever the subjunctives are used in a sentence, it takes the plural verb. We demand he remove the lexical verb without S. Law 22, concord of every or each. Now, when a singular noun follows every, the singular verb is used, but when a plural number follows it, a plural verb is used. A singular number and a singular verb usually come after each on a normal day. But that you should not, however, that a plural number cannot be used after each or even except when of is used. One of the boys. One of the boys, not one boys. Every boy's wrong, every one of the boys right. Each boy is wrong, each of the boys right. So please note, I can say each is here, but each of them is here. Not even each of them are here. When every or each is used in a sentence and a coordinator and is employed to link two or more subjects, the singular verb will be supplied. Each of goes with a plural number and a singular verb. We have noted that each of the boys is here. Every woman wants a very rich man as a husband. Now, every woman, I didn't say every of the women, every woman singular, and it will be singular and once. Of course, a very rich man. They don't say some very rich men. Every teacher or teacher, we have every teacher, not every of the teachers, likes or likes being likes singular. Each chair, not each of the chairs. Each chair singular, not each chairs. Cost singular. A here shows us, look my star, that is a singular. Every man, woman, and child in our house pray or praise every morning. Every man, yeah, woman, and child. When we say that when it is correlated with a plural, what do? A plural number cannot be used. When it's correlated by a plural, what do? When each of goes with plural, when every or each is used in a sentence and a coordinator and is used to link two more, so the singular verb should be supplied. So it does not change the rule. Every man, woman, and children in our house praise every morning. Every man, woman, and child in our house pray every time. Every man is the main thing we're talking about them. Each chair and table costs, of course, and because and is here, that doesn't mean we have to use plural. Each chair, one or any of them, costs singular. Be reminded that each of goes with a plural number and a singular verb. Each of the contestants, plural, not constanta, has or have a chance to win. Plural now, then go down with singular verb to complement it. Now we have law 23. Singular nouns that appear as if they were plural. Remember, we said we're going down to this level. Could be more. But let's see what happens. Some singular nouns appear as if they were plurals because they have an S after them, or because they are linked by coordinator, and people think that they are plurals, but they are singular. We're talking about right there. Now, these nouns are found in 4 areas. One, we have title of books. Like Romeo and Juliet is a title of book. Because we join them with a coordinator and does not make it a plural. Sons and Daughters, a book. A Tale of Two Cities, another book. Now look at what appear in post-UMA of 1987, question 79 to be precise. It said, Tale of Two Cities is or are the novel we are studying for the examination. Somebody that see a Tale of Two Cities will say, man, this is a plural. Let me use No, it's singular. That was the answer. You have to use just what the law said. Now, look at more examples. Romeo and Juliet is or are an interesting play. Of course, Romeo and Juliet is. Why do we have an if it is not singular? Wives and Mothers has or have been chosen as the best Nigeria play for the year. This is a book, Wives and Mothers. It's a book. Even because it's Wives and Mothers, we now say when a coordinator is used in a sentence, it takes a plural verb. No. What about diseases? X, measles, mumps, shingles, tuberculosis. AIDS has, not have, killed many young people. Measles makes, it is makes measles, in as much as we have as one uncomfortable. Tuberculosis is a dreaded disease. Of course, it is. Why do we say a dreaded disease or some dreaded diseases? So whenever any of this is used, we take games. We can also find those singulars that confuses. Those singulars that confuse. Yes, if it is singular, confuses. Singulars confuse. I'm trying to apply Concord in my spoken English. I say those singulars that confuses. I withdraw it. I say those singulars that confuse. Singulars, plural. Confuse, plural. Singular, confuses, singular. Snakes and ladder. Chess, table tennis, balls, darts. Look at it. Snakes and ladder is not a common game, of course. We have school courses or subjects. Statistics has or have many formula. Statistics. Remember? Formula here is used as an alternative to plural. Statistics has many formula. Composite word has. Economics exposes one to the various economic concepts. Economics, though it appears as singular, exposes singular. Civics was or were a compulsory subject, was a compulsory subject, possibly back in the days before it came back on board again. Civics was not were a compulsory subject. So right now, we've been able to deal specifically with this Concord once and for all. The 23 laws of Concord have been looked at, and we can see that the laws are hinged on the rule of subject-predicate agreement. When the subject is singular, the predicate is singular, and when the subject is plural, the predicate is plural. So every law hinges on that. Yes, I've applied Concord now. I wouldn't say every law hinges on that. Every law hinges on that. Each of the laws hinges on that. So keep on applying your Concord. And keep on being safe, keep on reading, keep on preparing, because the time would come when you wouldn't have the time to even prepare anymore. I'm wishing you all good tidings like we've always done. I want you to remain blessed. May God continue to bless you all. It's been a wonderful time with you on this Concord, and I know it will help you in different areas. Your spoken English, in your written English, and in every ramification, both in exam questions. This is one of the bedrock of English. It's one of those things that deny people about the pride of speaking very proudly in the public, of writing without errors. When you're good in Concord, you have it all. When you're good in Concord, you have an ace up your sleeves. You can pull it up and throw a joker in the park at any given time, because you know what you are definitely doing. Thank you very much, and remain